This conference will now be recorded.
Thanks again, guys. Today, we'll spend some time on the some of the prerequisites that will be required for us to do the sessions and so on. Right. So I'll spend some time on the prerequisite softwares and tools that we will be using it, and then I'll also get started with the Java basics. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll start with the prerequisites and then go over the Java basics. We'll spend probably next 30-40 minutes today, since I think there are a few people who are registered but they couldn't able to join from today. So they'll be joining from Monday. So we'll have a proper 1 hour session from Monday. Will not delay like what we are doing it for yesterday or today. So we'll get started exactly at 8:30 p.m. IST, and it will go for an hour time. Okay, fine. So I was telling yesterday, you right, why Java is selected for performance engineering. The reason behind is the Java is something you would see in any of your enterprise architecture, even if it is going to a Python or Node or any other technology. The Java stack is going to be there in some way or other. Okay, and you cannot avoid it. And when it comes to performance engineering, wherever you go, whenever you attend an interview or whenever you talk to any other teams, always they're going to question you about the basics of Java performance engineering, right? Be it as a stack or be it as a heap or threadum, heapdom, GC, irrespective of technology you're going to work. Okay, from when it is going to come to a performance engineering, they are going to question you around these areas. Okay, so for multiple reasons, if at all you want to get started with the engineering, performance engineering for Java is the best thing to get started. And as you gain experience with your projects, then you will be able to go and apply this concepts to other technology or other architecture as well. Okay, so I was mentioning yesterday, right? Most of us are from performance testing background, which means mostly our job is to do the scripting execution and then provide the report, right? And we go and tell that your response times are not within SLA, or there are these many errors, these many failures. That is what we go and report it. Now, as a performance engineer, you're going to go and go 1, 2, 3 steps more, and then you're going to say response time is high because of a certain components, because of a particular method is taking more time, because of your third-party services is taking more time. There is a memory problem because of this object. There's a memory leak. There is a thread contention because of these methods. So you're going to go and communicate to the developers more in terms of technical jargons, right? More in terms of these terminologies. So which means you should be comfortable with what you're going to communicate, right? When you go and look into the APM tools or JProfiler tool, obviously performance testing and engineering, we are going to rely on tools. There are no other options, right? Every engineer in the world is going to rely on the tools and data the tool is going to provide you. But when you go and look into the data, when you go to analyze the data, and when you go and communicate to the developer, you should feel confident enough to go and talk in their own language, right? You're going to go to talk to them about the classes, methods, objects. So you should at least know what is that when you're going to talk about these terminologies. So that is the reason we wanted to have very simple, very small overview on the Java program. Right? We are not going to be a developer. We're not going to go and develop an application, but you should at least know how a program is written, how an application is written, how a developer will go and create these programs, what is going to be there inside the program, how they do a DB connection, how they do a HTTP connection, how they refer to the third-party libraries, how do they create WAR file, how do they create jar files, how do they deploy it. All these things you should at least know at a certain level, so that it is not a black box, right? you're going to talk about these terminologies, and it should not be a black box. That is the first thing you should. Once you know about these things, once you write 1 or 2 programs on your own, then you'll feel more confident to go and do this engineering comparatively. Okay. And when I say 1 or 2 programs, you're not going to go again go and take the core Java book and then learn how to write programs, or what are the variables, what is data structure, what is oops concept. We are never going to have time, also that kind of motivation to go and do a book with the kind of book way of learning it. Okay, so it is like I always go and compare LoadRunner with Java, right? In a way that when you started learning LoadRunner, you always would have gone with a template, right? It will have an user init, it will have an action, it will have an end, you will have transactions starts, you will have transaction end, you have other functions. You never would have investigated at the beginning why this is like this, right? Why there is a unit, why there is a in, why the structure is defined like that. It's a template. LoadRunner has given you a template. Do it in a certain way. Similarly, we can also try to approach a Java programs or Java application in a similar way. Okay, any Java program, okay, it could be a simple one program or it could be an application. End of the day, it is going to follow us kind of a skeleton which you can try to understand. Okay, it is going to have you're going to write a code, okay, and then you're going to save it as a .java, okay, and then when you compile it, it is going to be called as a class file. Okay, so .java is what a program is going to be, and when you compile it, it is going to get converted into a class file, which means there is going to be for every program what you write, it is a Java file or it is a class. Class is nothing but a program. A Java program is your class file, and within the class file, right? If you take any program, it is going to have some inputs. It is going to do some kind of operation, and it is going to write something, or it is going to return something, right? Input, processing, output, that is the basics for everything. So which means inside a program, inside a class, obviously you need to declare few variables so that you can temporarily store the input and temporarily store some of the processing data. So you're going to have a data declared within the program. Okay, every program is going to have a certain data declared. And in Java, there are 2 types of data. Okay, for now, you just understand there are 2 things. One is called primitive, another one is called non-primitive. From a memory perspective, there is a important connection between these primitive and non-primitive, which we'll talk it later. For now, there is 2 types of data, primitive and non-primitive. And the primitive will start with small letter, int, byte, character, boolean. Non-primitive will start with caps, strings, arrays, classes, objects, everything. Okay, so which means to keep it very simple, a primitive is going to have a smaller size of variables, whereas non-primitive is going to hold large amount of memory. The variables which is going to have a large amount of memory. That's it. Let's not get into deeper. When we go into a memory section, memory topics later next week, we'll see how this is going to be relevant, how this is going to be important. For now, a program is going to have it's a class file. It's going to have a data declared, variable declared to temporarily store something. Okay, and then you're going to have some operation, right? It is going to be some, or it is going to be a difference. It is going to be multiplication, addition, parsing. A lot of operations are going to happen, right? Actual processing is going to happen. That will be part of your something called method. Okay, a class file can have a one method or a multiple method. Method is nothing but where actual operation is going to take place. Okay, simple, right? You get an input which we need some data declaration, then you will have a method where some kind of processing is going to happen. Okay, And application is going to have multiple class files, right? It will have a login, it will have a logout, it will have order, it will order history, payment, search. It can have multiple class files. Okay, so when you group all these class files, and it is called a package. So package is going to have a multiple class files, a group of class files. Okay, and there's something called import. Okay, see you are working in an organization, and there are going to be multiple teams, and every team is going to create certain reusable libraries, right? Say for example, LDAP authentication throughout the company. Any application is going to have a login, and it's going to have a single sign-on or LDAP or OAuth, whatever it is, right? So which means somebody might have written a program, a class file, which can actually take user ID and password, and it can validate for a single sign-on authentication, and it can return saying it is valid or not. So that is a reusable library. Similarly, in the internet, there are n number of libraries that you will use it for doing a DB connection, for doing a HTTP connection, for doing a XML parsing, JSON parsing, right? Developer will use n number of reusable libraries. They have to, which means they have to import those libraries. Okay, they have to import the library from internet. They have to import the library from the your other teams as well. So any application is going to have one or more class files grouped under a package. Within the class file, you're going to have data declared, int, byte, string, array, and you're going to have a method which is going to do actual operation. And at the top, you might have imported certain libraries. Okay, that is what your program is going to look like. So let me just quickly show you the okay. So let's say, let's consider this as a sample program. Okay, let me go and just show you a sample package. Say my Java. Okay, this my Java is a package, right? Inside that package, you're going to have one program. Here it is one program. Probably I'll just open the yeah. Okay, so my Java 2 is my project. Okay, inside that there is a default package. I can also have a package name. Okay, and then I have code.java, I have price.java, I have memcache.java. Okay, three different Java files grouped under a package. Okay, and then if I go into this card.java, it's a class file, it's a program, right? Okay, this is not having any import. Let me open a program which will probably have some imports. Just give me 1 second. Okay, this might okay, if you see here at the top, there is java.io.exception, java.net.http URL connection, java.net.url. Okay, so there is going to be import. Okay, and then it is going to have a method. Okay, and you're going to, inside the method, you're going to have certain operation to be happening. So if you take any, say for example, I'll take our own application, right? E-library application. This is what we are going to use it for our entire engineering activities. So inside this e-library, if you go to the source, there are three packages. Okay, under the com.java.tpon.servlet, you have these many Java files: login, edit librarian, delete book, add librarian, add book. Okay, so you have n number of Java files. Okay, and then under a package, and then if you open any of the libraries, any of the Java file, right, it is going to have an import section. It is the import is going to depending upon your need, it is going to have their own imports. Right? Again, from a skeleton perspective, this is what it is going to follow in any project. You take a simple Java program, which I told you, this card.java or price.java, or even the e-library, actual application e-library, right? It's going to have a package. It is going to have a Java files. Inside Java files, you're going to declare something. It's going to have an import. That is how the structure is going to follow. And in that, there is another thing called object. Okay, so there are n number of definitions, n number of explanation available for an object everywhere. Okay, I'll put it in a very simple way. Whoever doesn't know about it, I think for them to make it understand, I'll put it in a simple way. It might not be the exact explanation, but to understand it a little easily, I wanted to provide this explanation. Okay, so assume that you're going to you are using Amazon.com. Okay, and you're logged into Amazon.com, and you're going to go and search for a laptop probably. So you wanted to order a Dell laptop. Okay, and I wanted to order a Samsung phone. Okay, and I want to check the price, and you also wanted to check the price. And so Amazon e-commerce application will have a class file which will receive the product and then quantity, and then it can provide you the total cost, right? So which means there is going to be a class file called price, okay, which is going to be called whenever somebody is going to request the price for their own product. Okay, so during runtime, right, when your application is running inside a Tomcat or a JBoss, okay, and when you're going to call, when I'm going to call, there is going to be a instance of the class file, a duplicate copy of the class file will get loaded into the memory, which is called heap. Okay, don't worry about heap and all. We'll be talking in detail. The object is nothing but a duplicate of your class file. For you, there will be a duplicate of a class file. For me, there will be a duplicate of class file. Say, which means there are 10, 20 people who are going to access that particular class file at the same time. There are 20 duplicate, 20 instance of the class file is going to get loaded in the memory. And the object one for you will receive the input as product as laptop, quantity as 1. For my object 2, it will receive the input as Samsung mobile and quantity as 2. Okay, and then the program is going to get executed. It is going to provide you the price for laptop, and for me, I will receive the price for the mobile. Okay, and then once this is done, the object will get deleted in few minutes. Will not go there to that object deletion and all. That is the concept about your memory, your heap, your garbage collection, all these things. And this object will get garbage collected after few minutes. So n number of objects will be created and destroyed, created, destroyed. Okay, so object is nothing but a instance of your class file. Object is nothing but a duplicate of your class file. Okay, another example, I would say, for example, the one which is there in the slide, right? Assume that there is a registration, student registration app. Okay, and there is a student. The application will accept the name, age, color. Okay, and then it will go and register it. So student A comes. There's a class file called student. Okay, and when there are two people who are trying to register it, a duplicate of the student will be created, which is nothing but an object. So object A will receive name as say Ram, age as 15, and then another object will receive another request for name is equal to Priya, age equal to 15, right? And these things will get stored in the database, whatever the way the student class is written, right? It will accept the input, and it will write it to the file, or it might write into a database, whatever it is. Okay, so there are going to be there is going to be a student class which is going to be on the runtime. There is going to be a n number of duplicates that is going to get created for that student class file, which will receive the um, inputs, and then it will store it to the DP during the runtime. Okay, so to put it simply, there are going to be n number of objects that is going to be created during your application when it is running and when it is used. Object is a duplicate of your class file. Okay, so what I'll do is there is a very good videos which I have done for Java programming. Okay, I think there will be some 2 hours, close to 1.5 hours, 2 hours of video available for you to understand basics about how to create a project in Eclipse, how to create a simple class file, how to create multiple class files, how to add the imports for doing a DB connection, for doing a HTTP connection. Okay, all these things are small programs, very simple programs which you can also go and create it. Okay, the intention here is for you to get comfortable not in the development, but for you to get more confidence in terms of what you're going to speak, what you're going to do analysis. Okay, because entire thing, whatever profiling we are going to do, whatever analysis we are going to do, we are going to say your response time is more because of this particular class file. A class A is calling class B, class B is calling class C. In the class C, there's a method. This method is having a high response time. That is what our analysis is going to be. So which means you should visually know how this is done by the developer. Okay, so you can go and create those small projects in Eclipse, and then you can do these things on your own. The videos will be very easy to understand, and all you need is I also uploaded all these programs as well in the drive. If you go to the drive, all these programs, whatever it is there in the that video, whatever I have told so far, that will be there in the under the Java sample. Okay, so you go to the Java sample, there the program for DB connection, program for HTTP connection, all these things will be there inside this folder. Okay, and the prerequisite, I think it's the drive is little slow, let it load. Okay, yeah, so it is having the HTTP test.java, demo1.java, demo2.java, card.java, dbconnection.java, price.java. All these programs I would have explained it in the in the video as well, and you can download it, and then you can refer it you can also go and create this program in the Eclipse. Okay, and the prerequisites are going to be, first is Java. Okay, you have to install the Java if it is not there in your laptop. Okay, make sure that you download Java 8 or more than 8, obviously, and just check, or if you are not sure about whether Java is there or not, just open the command prompt. Okay, and then just go and check the Java version. Okay, so Java version, once you get this Java version, which means Java is installed in your machine. If Java is not installed, just download the Java from Oracle site. Just go download, installation is very easy. Just do a click, it will get installed, and then open a command prompt and then check for the Java version. Okay, and when you install it, you need to set the something called environment variables. Okay, so environment variables is nothing but your laptop should know where is the Java installed, right? For example, Java can be installed in program files or any folder which you actually provide during the installation, right? For example, for me, if I go to the program files, I have Java and then JDK, I have bin, right? So you should tell your machine where to find the Java. Okay, so you need to go and set the environmental variables also. you need to say this is where my Java is, and then this is the path. Okay, so I would have explained in detail about this as well in the video, so you don't need to worry about it. You can just follow that video to go and set this as well. If you go and see, there will be a variable called Java. Okay, Java, and then you have to provide the path in which Java is there. Okay, and then you can also go and set the Java home. There's two things: one is Java, and one is Java home. Both you have to set it. Okay, and then there is something called path. The path variable also, you go and add the your Java JDK bin path. Okay, once these three things are done, you would be able to use a Java, and that is a prerequisite for Eclipse also. Okay, for Eclipse, for Tomcat to work, you need Java. Okay, so before installing Tomcat, before installing Eclipse, make sure that you have the Java installed. Okay, and then Eclipse as well. If you want to install, download it from the internet, you can download it. Or I think Eclipse also I would have uploaded here somewhere. Okay, it should be there somewhere here for you to download. Okay, I think it should be inside the Java sample. Let me check. I think it is there. I'll provide you the path where it is there inside this drive. Okay, and Tomcat as well. You can download from here. Tomcat, I would have kept it here, and Tomcat -new t. You can download Tomcat. Okay, so you can download the Tomcat, and you can also download any of these war files that is there in the drive. If you go to the response time analysis, and inside that you will find the war file. Okay, e-library, new e-library, response to. There are multiple war files. E-library.war. If probably you can download the e-library.war file. Okay, download it, and then in the Tomcat folder. Okay, once you download the Tomcat and extract it, right from the drive, you download, extract it. So once you extract it, go to the Tomcat folder. Okay, go to the Tomcat folder, and then go to the web apps, and in the web apps, copy this e-library.war file. Okay, once you copy it, okay, then you can just go on. I'll close this, and then I'll open this again. And so download it, and then you can go to the bin and then start it. Okay, so these are the things which you have to follow. Probably in the weekend, right, you'll get time to do all these things, because from Monday we'll get started with the all these engineering sessions in terms of all these profiling, everything, right? So the next 2 days you can make use of it. One, for going over the Java videos. Second, you can install Java, set your environmental variables, download the Tomcat from the drive, install the unzip the Tomcat, and download the e-library.war file, and then copy that war file into the web apps. Okay, and then start the Tomcat. Okay, and every now and then I will be providing a new war file. Say for example, I'll create a war file with a response time issue. I'll create a war file with a memory issue. So whenever I have a new war file, I'll upload it in the drive. You have to download it, and then you have to copy into this your Tomcat folder, so that you can use it for your own hands-on. Okay, if you wanted to repeat, practice whatever we are doing it in the session the next day or in the weekend.
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt. I have a question. What is this war file?
Okay, good. So war and jar are the when you have a program, right? We have I was showing you multiple Java files, right? Let me go to this Eclipse. Okay, so here if you see this package, right? Your e-library program or e-library project is having multiple Java files. It is having the HTML pages. It is having the images, everything, right? So now if you want to deploy this in a Tomcat, so only when you deploy, you will be able to access it through the internet or in the Chrome browser, right? So you have to go and export this into a. There are two ways to export it. One, you can export it as a jar file or as a WAR file. WAR is a web archive. Okay, so when you go and do it, so WAR is nothing but you're combining all your Java files and your HTMLs so that it can get deployed. So WAR is you can probably, to put it simple, you can think of as a zip. You're zipping it everything together. Okay, so one is WAR. Another one is a jar. A jar, again, it's a Java archive. If it is not a web application, if it is just a standalone program. For example, I have this. Let me go to a program where I might have some DB connections. Okay. Okay, I'll explain it with an example later. Okay, jar is something but for a standalone programs, which is not a web application but a standalone Java application. For that, you can upload it as a where you can create a jar file. In fact, if you have used Jmeter, okay, Jmeter, it's a standalone application, right? It is not a web application. Jmeter is a standalone Java application. Okay, so if I go to my Jmeter, right? Jmeter is a jar file. If you go to bin, there will be something called Apache Jmeter dot executable jar file. So a Java application can be converted to a jar file or a WAR file. Okay, so now Tomcat has started, and then so whenever I go to give a WAR file, you have to copy it to bin folder, and you will start the Tomcat, and then you can go and open the local host. It will be in 8082 or 8083. You can take it. It depends upon the port what you're going to configure. Admin and then admin 123. Okay, so then you will log into this e-library application. You will then depending upon what we are going to do, we might do memory profiling. We might do your response time profiling. We'll use multiple tools. Again, from a tool perspective also, right? At least go and install from AppDynamics. I'll tell how to register it in the AppDynamics site, and we'll go over the configuration. But JProfiler is something you can again go to the JProfiler website and download the JProfiler. And when you register, right, you have to register with your Gmail ID. Just any Gmail ID is good enough. Let me go to the site quickly. This also you set up in your machine tomorrow, JProfiler. Okay, download JProfiler, set up a trial version. You will get a license key. Okay, you can do a download. You can go and download the JProfiler, and it will provide you it will send the trial license key to your email ID. It's a very simple thing which you can use it for 1, 2, 3 months very without any problem with one Gmail ID. For training, for learning, you can definitely use it, and then open the JProfiler. Then say I have to attach the JVM. This is what we'll be doing it next week, right? For your profiling, server-side profiling, for response time, or for your memory and all, we'll be using JProfiler. So starting point is Java, Tomcat, and then Eclipse is not also mandatory. But if you want to really do a hands-on on Java, you can actually install Eclipse also. If not, you can skip it. Mandatory ones are Java followed by Tomcat and then JProfiler. Okay, and then you might need JVisual VM. You might need something called JConsole also. Those things probably when we get into that sessions, I'll tell you what to install. But over the weekend, at least have your Java, Tomcat, JProfiler ready. Okay, and AppDynamics and all, we will take care later when we are going to have the session. I'll tell you how to register it and how to get it done. Okay, so I'll take a pass, guys. Now I don't want to go in detail. I just want to spend some 40-45 minutes today. We'll have a regular sessions from Monday. Okay, and yeah, I'll just open it for any questions on the topics what we are going to cover. If you have any questions around schedule, duration, anything, please feel free to put it in the chat, or we can voice it over.
Hey Satish, you must be having one list of all these prerequisite steps, right? That we have to install this first, and then we have to go over for the Tomcat and then Eclipse and everything. So do you have anything, any notepad or something, so that you have everything you have showed in the visualization, but anything written?
Yeah, there is a, in the Google Drive, there is a sheet available where I would have given the all the software list. Okay, but it is not a step-by-step document, but there's nothing step-by-step required. Okay, I'll just open that sheet once again. Yeah. See, basically, you can just follow these things, right? Java, and then set your environment variables, and then have Eclipse, and then have Tomcat, Visual VM, and JProfiler. Okay, this is the order which you can probably go over. One second, I'll do one thing. I think the drive is a little slow. Yeah, I think this drive you should have an access. In that you go and open the software and links. In that, or I'll just take it bold. Yeah. So whatever I have made as a bold, you can just follow this order. This Eclipse you can probably skip it. Otherwise, all these things are in the same order what I told.
Okay, this is perfect actually.
Yeah. Okay. So as I was mentioning yesterday, the topics are going to be around whatever I was explaining you yesterday. Okay, the Java basics we started, the JVM basics we'll go through on Monday, and then we'll get started with the complete analysis of response time, memory, heap dump, GCs, thread dump. That is what the sessions are going to be. Okay, and whoever got registered, right? I'll ask the team to share you the Java videos, okay, and then Linux videos, and then the performance automation for Selenium. Or the performance automation for Selenium. Probably once you complete the client-side performance, right, you'll understand how this performance automation for Selenium is going to help. There's a connection between client-side performance and the performance automation for Selenium. Okay, because we're going to use Selenium for client-side performance. So, but anyway, these videos I'll share it. We will share it over the weekend to people who have registered. But you don't need to look into it now itself. You can take time leisurely, and then you can look into these additional videos. The Java videos, of course, you can look it over the weekend. It will be easy for you to. Once you look into those videos, it will be easy for you to. When you go into the response time analysis and all, it will make sense for you about these classes, objects, everything. There's a question in the chat. Can we use IntelliJ instead of Eclipse? Yes, of course. If you are comfortable with IntelliJ, you can definitely use any IDE, because see, the reason I use Eclipse is, one, to create these small programs for our own hands-on, and then for the e-library application, I will go and do certain changes to the application to a few Java files, so that I can create those response time problem or memory problem. For that purpose, I'm using Eclipse. But for the actual engineering sessions, you don't need any IDE at all. If you are interested in doing some changes and then you wanted to probably create a war file and all, you can do it. For that, you can use Eclipse or IntelliJ. It is up to you. There is, but from an engineering session perspective, IDE is not really important. That's why I told Eclipse is an optional one. Okay, there's one more question. How about mobile performance analysis? Okay, so so when it comes to mobile, right, you have two things. One is your mobile web app, which is nothing but you can open Amazon.com in your laptop Chrome. You can also open Amazon.com in the mobile Chrome, right? So from a performance testing perspective, when it is going to be loaded in the browser, both are the testing approach is going to be same, because wherever you're going to type in Amazon.com, it is going to go to your same server and it is going to do the same thing, right? So your load testing, engineering, everything is going to be same for a mobile web app. When it comes to native app, right, which is installed from Play Store or App Store, there are two components. One, you have an app installed in your mobile, and then you have your actual server running in the backend, which is going to be under load. So or mostly your mobile apps are going to have API calls or microservices, right? So from a server perspective, again, even if it is going to be mobile native app, the engineering is same. Nothing is going to be different. All these things are going to be relevant for the mobile app as well, because end of the day, your browser or mobile app, everything is going to communicate with your server, right? And then server is going to run the code, is going to have an application, is going to have the APIs, it's going to have services, which is going to run, which is going to be under load. It is going to occupy memory. It is going to consume CPU. Everything is same. Only the client side is going to be different, because in the web you will have a client side performance done in the browser, right? You look into the load time, you look into the page size, a lot of these things you will analyze the developer tool. But when it comes to mobile native app, you don't have a browser, right? It is more of an app which you're opening it. So that is something you might not do exhaustive client side performance when it comes to mobile native app, unlike your browser based web app. So that's a difference. So which means there's no real difference between the engineering approach what you will follow for web app or your mobile app. Okay, there's one more question on what is the difference between synthetic monitoring and real user monitoring. Okay, there are three monitoring, right? One is our regular server monitoring, which we will use it using our application performance monitoring tool APM, which we saw, which we showed you the AppDynamics, right? So AppDynamics is one of the tool or monitoring tool, okay, which will be using it for your server side monitoring, and we'll also use it for diagnostics also. So that is a one monitoring which we will do it both in production and also in the performance environment. Synthetic monitoring and real user monitoring are from a production perspective. You have a production application, and in the production application there are going to be n number of users going to use it from across the globe, right? So real user monitoring will provide you the data about who from where the users are logged in, from which region of US they are logged in, or which country they have logged in, from which country they are logged in, and what browsers they have used, and what network condition their missions are, and what are the pages they have navigated. So all the real user data, right? You open your laptop from Mumbai and you access Amazon.com. There will be an entry in the real user monitoring tool saying that there is a one user logged in from Mumbai, okay, using mobile, using Android app, using iOS app. So real user monitoring is going to monitor the actual real user navigation, and that real user monitoring tool will be important tool for collecting the NFR also. For non-functional requirements, real user monitoring tool is one of the important tool which we will use it. Okay, so real user monitoring is the actual data that is coming from the real user browser will get stored in the real user monitoring tool, through which you will be able to analyze, okay, during your peak hours, overall accessing your application, from which geography they are accessing it, which browser is more frequently used, is it a Firefox or a Chrome or an Android app or iOS app. All these real user data will come into the real user monitoring tool. Whereas synthetic monitoring tool, it is more from a proactive monitoring. Say I don't want the user to complain saying my app is slow, right? I want proactively to monitor it. So in production, we'll be running the Jmeter script or Selenium script, right? One user, two user, hitting your application landing pages every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. So synthetic monitoring, artificial monitoring, and then if there's a failure, if there's a response time is high, then there will be an alert created. So synthetic monitoring is more of a proactive monitoring of your application in production to identify problems before the actual user is going to report it. Okay, the synthetic monitoring, we as I was mentioning in the topic, right? We'll use Dynatrace as an hands-on. We'll try to understand how to create synthetic scripts, how to configure the synthetic execution, and then we'll run it for multiple regions, and then see how the data is going to come into the synthetic monitoring. That is something we'll look into it in detail. Okay, fine guys, I'll stop it here. We'll meet on Monday. Go through the videos over the weekend and set up your laptop, whatever I have mentioned. If you have any questions, if you wanted to get in touch with me to understand, if you have any questions, we can also have a call over the weekend. Just message me. We can connect whenever we both are available. Or if you have any messages as well, you can put it in the WhatsApp. Okay. Okay, there are a few more. How to troubleshoot the API issue as a PE? Okay, see, API issue, it's a end of the day, if it is an web page or services or microservices, everything is going to be a Java code, right? Everything is going to be an application. So which means the way we will troubleshoot or the way we will profile for the response time or for the memory, it's going to be pretty much same. Nothing is going to be different. Either it is going to be /login page, or if it is going to be a /OAuth service, the call is going to come to your JBoss or a Tomcat, and it is going to go and hit your respective endpoint or respective your JSP or servlet. So everything is, end of the day, it's going to hit a particular program, and that is what we are going to troubleshoot. So it's not going to be much difference if it is a services or a microservices or a web page from a the way you will address those problems. Okay, the drive, yes, I will share the drive. Definitely, I'll share the drive by tonight. Whoever registered, I'll share I'll add your email IDs to those drive. You'll get an access tonight. And for the port, right? So once you download your WAR file and copy the WAR file into your Tomcat, you can go to the configuration. Go to the configuration. Okay, open the server.xml. Okay, and then if you want to change the port, you can also change the port. Say for example, in your laptop something else is running. Okay, your Tomcat will not start. So you can go and change it to. You can go and change it to 8082 or 8083 or 8084. It's up to you. Okay, so you can change it by default. I think the one which you download from my drive, it will be 8082. You can leave it as it is, or you can go and change it to other as well. Okay, fine guys, I'll go and stop the recording and we'll meet on Monday. If you have any questions, on the payment or registration, you can reach out to Kumar sir or any of the admins in that WhatsApp group. If you have anything over the topics that you have any questions, or if you want to know your applicability, whether it's the right course for you, if you have any questions, you can also ping me in the WhatsApp and we can connect over the weekend. Okay, and who have registered, I think you already shared your email. If you haven't shared your email, please share it. I'll give the access by tonight. Yeah, thank you guys. We'll meet on Monday then.